What up, it's your boy Dvrth back ahead again for another video, and today we're here with To Your Eternity episode 10. Last episode we had kind of like our makeshift family kind of come back together. GUGU, Fushi, Reen, all back together. I think they decided to go back to Boozman, kind of like moving on from the situation, be like, it is what it is. Which was very mature of GUGU to even come to that conclusion. But before we could get there, we were attacked by what I'm assuming we're calling the Abomination, or some type of enemy, enemy to life itself, that seems to be seeking out Fushi for whatever reason, to impede his journey. So GUGU is running onto the scene. I am praying and hoping, I'm crossing every appendage that I can think of in order to hope that GUGU doesn't die here. And that's pretty much it. It already took what's her name, March's form, so that's not good. And all we're left with is Oniguma, Johan, and Oniguma, Johan, The Rock. Oh, and of course, the nameless boy. So we're gonna hop straight into it. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more To Your Eternity or something totally different, the best place to send that in is always my social media. Links going to be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early or the full length reaction to these episodes, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Links going to be in the description below for that as well. We also have a Discord if you want to join that. So with all that being said, let's get our headphones, make sure they're on. Them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. So here's the thing. Let me turn this down real quick so I can actually think, even though this song is a jammer. Here's the weird thing, right? We don't exactly know what the abomination is, the enemy is, right? We just know that it opposes life, and from what we just learned here, the maker, or whatever you want to call him, God or whatever, does not think too highly of this thing, right? Now the thing is, with that being said, with him saying that, it makes me think, like, whenever you think God, right, you think of something that created everything, right? Or even if that's not exactly the real meaning of God, right? But you think of something that's created everything. But the way that he talks about this thing, he talks about it as if he did not create this. Something else created it. Which could bring, like, this has nothing to do with this episode, but it brings up the thing of, like, the idea of, like, maybe there is something else. Okay. No worries, you're ready. You're more ready than you were before. Oh, that was cold. Yeah. This would have been great if Fushi could actually create that fire. That would have been great. Nice. Oh, you got him. Oh, that was cold. That's not cold. You can spit that out. There's fire there. There's fire there. There's fire there. Liquor is flammable. Liquor is flammable. Spit out, breathe fire. Yes. 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 The dragon. Oh shit. Oh damn, I thought he was about to turn to the dragon. Run or I'll get angry. Is he empty? He come back and I'll bite you. What the fuck? Oh shit. Huh? Shit. We do not have time for this. Need alcohol. Okay, not the best way to put that, but give me the strongest shit. Shut up. Go mind your goddamn business. Okay. I'm glad that you're quick on the uptake. Pure. Good. Oh my god. Get your hands off of her, King Harold. Being selfish. Boy, I will spit on your mom. it took hard liquor for you to say, but hey, you got it. Children? Yeah. Bitch. You see I got the cane on me. Shit. Okay. Jesus Christ, David and Goliath for real. Oh! That shit. Oh, that's so fucking hard. Oh, this is so hard. Good job, GUGU. Good job, GUGU. Holy fuck. I'm about to lie, he might just be a fucking rock. Oh, is it just gonna go to him? Okay, yeah, sure, that works too. Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yep, he's a rock. Fuck, that's tough. That's tough. God damn. Nice. Bite him. And said, you came back? Yep, bite him. Oh, this shit ended so well. Shut up. How about you make it to where I can blow, like I can breathe fire all the time? It cancels out. Shut your bitch ass up, Edward. Is he stagnating? They apply the destruction of this world. They learn. They may have lost this time, but they will. Not always. Unfortunately, not always.
俺にはグーグー必要。
I
離
won't.
れない。なんだよ、さっきから独り言なんて。らしくないぞ。見えてない。
No, of course not.
何が
But
帰る。
長いことお世話になったわ。
でもいいの？ご両親のこと。
もうどうでもよくないけど自分の境遇が。
どうやら俺たちには一つだけ共通点があるみたいだ。
old man, old lady. Not Mr. Shop Boy.
冗談よ、グーグー。
Who the fuck?
君もここ長いよね。もう何年になる？
GUGU? God damn, you got bro. Oh!
こんなにたくさん入れるから。
Holy shit.
力持ちになったな。
Big nigga GUGU. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
ごめんください。
You see what my boy looking like? You don't really look no different. But you see what my boy looking like?
今月2回目。おいしそう。
Who cooked this?
本当に上手になったわね。
Yeah, my dog.
だったら食べてってよ。また一人で勝手に食べ始めてる。
Man, you know how it is. You know the rules. Fuck it. Fair enough. Oh, really? You don't say you age? Or your forms age?
みんなで飯。
Huh. Wow. His forms age. I don't even know what to say. These are actual, like, these are more than just husks. I mean, of course they had life in them, but like, this changes so many things of what would, like, it maybe doesn't change so much about what Fushi could do, but this fundamentally changes what Fushi could do later on. Now that I'm thinking about it, because if his forms age, I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking. Hang on, because we saw three very distinctive things that could mean. Well, we've seen two things that actually could mean a lot for Fushi. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so first of all, really glad that my dog found a way. First of all, I'm really glad that my dog found a way to fight. You know, when he was running into the fight in the beginning of this episode and in the end of the last episode, I was like, oh shit, he's dead, right? Now granted, this episode ended pretty. This is a very good ending to this episode. So the potential for really bad things happening is, it's pretty high. I'll say that much. It's pretty high. But regardless of all that, I was really happy with Fushi actually going back and finding a way to fight, which was really cool actually. Using what he saw as kind of using what he saw as what made him a monster into a weapon, something positive, in learning how to breathe fire. Because as soon as he threw up the liquor, I was like, man, if only we had some fire. And then I saw the glow over in the corner. I was like, oh. So that was really cool. But to talk, I guess, just outside of like the fight being cool and being really happy that Fushi and have I been saying Fushi this whole time? I've been meaning to say GUGU, I think. But outside of Fushi and GUGU being able to defeat the abomination, all the other stuff, the knockers is what the god entity creator thing is what the creator called them. Outside of that being like cool and all that, it's great, you know, that's great. There some questions brought up in this episode that I feel like are more important to the discussion, which is, first of all, in the beginning, in the creator's little monologue in the beginning, he talks about these knockers as if they are something totally different. Now, at the top of the episode, I was like, yeah, maybe there's another god out there, or a devil, or something to that effect. But I think it's better for us to just refer to whatever created these things, if something created them, as a more of another entity, right? Because we don't exactly know we don't even know what the creator is, right? We just know that he is a creator, and that's it, right? Like, he created Fushi. That's all we know about him, right? So it would be very presumptuous for me to be like, oh, there's another god out there, there's a devil out there. We can only say that there's a entity out there, and we can't even really say that. We can only say that this thing came to be, right? Now I talk about that because it adds more to it, just the world, right? It adds more to the metaphysical world of whatever the fuck the creator lives in, because now that means that there's a ecosystem of some kind in his world, right? That, because if he can like say, yeah, I don't think very highly of them, it means that there are things that he does, you know, think highly of. There are things that he likes, he dislikes, you know, and one of the things that he dislikes are those the knockers, right? So it leads us to believe that there is some sort of I'm not saying that there's like a covenant of creators, or like a coalition of gods that hang around, like it's what's it called? Like, oh yeah, we just chill out in Helheim, and it's pretty cool, you know. We'd be chilling out over by Yggdrasil Lane and be chilling, right? Like that. I'm not saying that, you know, but I am saying that there is more out there. It does give us the idea of there being more out there. But we know very little. We just know very little we know very little of the god, the knockers, and stuff like that. Mostly because we haven't got much information except for random parts of the show where he talks about how he feels about certain things, right? Now, another important part to talk about this episode, once again having to do with the creator, is the creator telling Fushi that he needs to continue to get stronger and continue to go on his journey to, you know, get stronger, right? Which Fushi is like, no, I want to stay here, you know, I like it here. GUGU is also strong, he'll protect me, which is very, I want to say it was very strange to hear, and that's only because from a meta standpoint, we know that Fushi is the main character, so it's kind of weird to hear the main character be like, I don't gotta worry about fighting too much. My dog GUGU got it, you know what I'm saying? Like, another character has it, because you kind of expect the main character. You get used to it, no matter what kind of show you're watching. You get used to hearing the main character be like, nah, I'm strong enough, or nah, it's fine. I'll get strong or something like that. But you never really hear the main character defer to somebody else and be like, it's cool because that guy's strong, right? But for Fushi, it is a kind of like a respect, right? It's a respect for GUGU, but it's also a an ignorance. And I say ignorance like he doesn't. Fushi is only just now learning, and barely, I mean, just barely learning about death, like earlier that day, right? So Fushi doesn't exactly understand how these things work. Like, he doesn't understand how life and death works. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. Fushi doesn't exactly have, like, he's seen the boy, like the nameless boy, go empty, and he understood that March went empty too, and you know, died or whatever. But I don't think he has the best grasp on the fact that everybody dies, right? Including GUGU. And the unfortunate thing about being immortal, which we have said time and time again, is that everybody around you dies. And it's not even that, it's that you outlive everybody. So even if you know, at this moment GUGU is strong enough to defeat the knockers, we know from the creator that they are intelligent, they are planning, you know, they are also going to get stronger. And while right now you won, this battle between Fushi and the knockers is something that is going to span throughout time in a way that somebody like GUGU is not going to be there to see, you know. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Like I see where the creator is coming from, right? He rather not see the world destroyed. He rather preserve life. And at the moment at least, and I think for probably the entire show, Fushi is going to be the only person that's going to be able to stand up to this threat. This is bigger than a lot of the other humans, you know, at least individually, that Fushi thinks can handle it. So it is best if Fushi learns how to get stronger and learns how to not rely on GUGU or anybody else that may join his family in the long run, and Fushi becoming more self-sufficient and you know, just stronger in general. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. I'll just say that. So with all that being said, there to continue the conversation with about what do you call it? To continue the conversation with like the whole metaphysical stuff and the creator and stuff like that. First off, let me just say that I didn't expect a time skip. That came, to me at least, came out of nowhere. I was like, oh shit, okay. But my dog did get built. You know, he's swole now, and I respect it. You know, he's looking great. He's looking good. And you know, he stayed true to the whole like being a better person, right? We saw during the end of that episode where GUGU was like, yeah, I'm coming back, but that doesn't mean that I forgive you. You're still, you know, you still fucked up, but you did save me, so that cancels out, and you know, it is what it is. So they're moving on regardless of their circumstances. Even Reen kind of adopted that philosophy of moving on regardless of your circumstance, and kind of just moving past everything, right? And thus he betters himself, and I believe while while you don't physically see Rain, better herself by getting buff or anything like that, we can assume that Rain's doing the same thing within that time skip. So both being able to kind of become better. As I said in the last episode, you don't exactly have to forgive somebody in order to move on. While closure's nice, closure isn't exactly needed. And I think it's something that GUGU learned very quickly. Now the biggest surprise was all the way towards the end of seeing GUGU grown up, seeing Ring grown up, all this other stuff. I'm like thinking to myself, oh yeah, and then Fushi, I wonder what he's learned. I'm thinking about, oh shit, yeah, he's probably learned so much. He can probably speak really well, and his his language in general is really well. His vernacular is really good, and all this other stuff. What has he learned? But the show surprises me by showing me like, oh, he learned how to cook. He's a pretty good cook now, right? That's great. But the show surprises me by showing me that he grew up. That's something that I didn't expect. I'm not sure why I didn't expect that. That's something that I did not expect. Here's why I'm chomping at the bit to talk about this specifically. Here's why this is one of the most interesting aspects of the show so far for me. This was like the biggest twist to me because I did not expect his form to grow up. Now, what does that mean, right? Like, okay, sure, he has facial hair now. He's going through puberty, blah, blah, blah. What, who cares, right? Of course, right? Maybe it's me just being an idiot, right? It could totally be me being an idiot, not noticing whatever signs there have been in the past, like 10 episodes. But I wasn't of the mind that his forms were. I wasn't of the mind that his forms were literally changing. I wasn't of the thought process that he was literally growing up, right? And it might just be because not too much time was passing. Like within the time that he was gaining form, not too much time was passing. But I wasn't thinking that his forms were living. That's the thing, is that his form, like I was thinking that these were husks. And maybe a husk isn't exactly the best way to explain what I was thinking they were. I was thinking more. This is how I assumed that his shapeshifting worked, right? I assumed that in the most layman's terms that I can think of is that Fushi was made of like clay that could reenact what he was shapeshifting into, right? Like, so if he shapeshift into March, he would still have the blood there because the clay that he changed into recreated blood, right? It could imitate blood, right? I thought these were not imitations, because they make a very good point of being like, yo, these people are coming along the ride. Even if they die, they're coming along the journey with us, right? It's really hard to explain what I thought they were, but it's easy to explain what I think they are now, right? They are literal vessels of the person that died. These things are reanimated. And maybe not reanimated in a way of like, oh yes, March's actual body rose back up, and he, he is now that, right? No, he made a perfect copy, a perfect organic copy of these people, and made them vessels that are inhabited by only one soul, which is Fushi. Here's why this is a game changer. It doesn't exactly say that Fushi is like gonna gain all these, oh yeah man, next thing you know he's gonna be shooting laser beams out his eyes because like he could evolve. And no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are a couple things that we've seen throughout this show that could probably break the game. Like, this could either be really good or really bad, right? Now that I know that these are actual vessels, it means that these things can hold souls, right? Whatever that may be, right? Because we don't exactly, like, when you start talking about what's a soul and all this other stuff, like a soul is created by, memories and all this stuff, whatever you think a soul is, just use that in your head, right? These things are vessels without a soul, and they're organic. They're perfect organic recreations. And there are a couple things that we've seen throughout the show that points to a game-breaking glitch, I would say, in this world. Which is, the first thing is what I want to point you towards, is March's death. Now, take this with a grain of salt, as I am, because it could, I don't want to go too far into it and then like kind of ruin what the story may be trying to tell me by being too analytical and being too like, oh yeah, let's talk about theories, right? But so like, just take all this with a grain of salt. But I want to redirect you to March's death. Once again, I might be thinking too hard on this, but when March died, we saw March's ghost. We saw March's ghost, and at first it was really sad, so we weren't really thinking about it, right? Or at least I wasn't, like, I can't speak for everybody, but I wasn't really thinking about it because it was just really sad, right? I was like, oh no, March, and she's talking to Perona and being like, hey, don't kill yourself, blah blah blah. She's all this other stuff. And when you see stuff like that in shows, anime, whatever, you kind of just think, oh yeah, that's their final hoorah for the show. You think it's more of like a fourth wall break from the show than it is actually happening in the show's world, right? If we were to think about this scene in actually happening in the show's world, in which we have proof that it was actually happening in the show's world, right? That means that March's spirit was just right there. Was just chilling right there, right? And as I said, we have proof that that was what was happening, right? That was actually happening, because when March is talking to Perona and she's like, yo, don't kill yourself, blah blah blah, she looks to Fushi and runs over to Fushi to get him to stop Perona instead. When she goes over to Fushi stops Perona. Now here's the next thing. Fushi would not have actually stopped Perona in the mental state that he was, like, with the intellectual state that Fushi was in, right? I won't say he wouldn't have, but there was a very low chance that Fushi would have understood, hey, she's about to kill herself, I should stop her from killing herself. at the intellectual and emotional level that Fushi was at right there in his evolution, in his maturation, he would have been confused and he would have been sad if she went through with it, but he wouldn't have understood enough to stop her. The fact that it was March to get Fushi to stop her, and March was already a ghost, it tells you that Fushi has some way of interacting with the metaphysical, right? We even see in this episode with obviously him talking to the creator and nobody else being able to see the creator, right? So Fushi obviously can interact with the metaphysical, but not only that, right? And I understand, you know, like I was about to say stamina. What's the word? Fuck. What's it called? Stimulation and all this other stuff. Yeah. That's why he turned into March and blah blah. Yeah, understood. But when he stops Perona, he has March's face as if like it's March trying to stop Perona, right? And we look at it like, oh, that's stimulation, blah blah blah. But once again, now I'm seeing as he can actually interact with these spirits, right? I don't know how it works. I don't know. I don't think that we'll learn how it works. Maybe ever in the show. And if we ever do, it'll be far ahead, right? But that's the first thing. We now know that he can interact with them. He can do something with them, or they can interact with him. Now, stay with me. What we also know is that, second off, in this episode, when the knocker thing died and the memories came back up, they automatically went over to Fushi, right? Now granted, it's because it's his, like those are his now, those are his forms and all this other stuff, right? But it went over to Fushi. To me, that reinforces like the whole metaphysical thing. Even GUGU saw it and he was like, oh, this light, what the fuck's going on? It led him over to Fushi, right? And like I said, it kind of reinforces the whole metaphysical thing, right? And since they were led over to Fushi, it means that Fushi he can absorb those things, right? He can absorb the metaphysical, right? He can interact with it, he can absorb it, he has some type of I don't want to say will, but he has an attraction to them, right? Or they have an attraction to him. Now, here's the next thing. The fact that Fushi ages, that's the last thing I want to talk about. I know that that's what we just talked about like 15 minutes ago, but I want to wrap it all around to the fact that Fushi ages. Once again, that means that these are literal vessels. Now, I don't know how it would work. And I don't know if I'm looking into it too much. But the fact that his forms age means that if they were to have a soul other than Fushi's, they just go on as if they were normal human beings. Just, yeah, it is what it is, right? Whatever. My thing is that if Fushi's forms age and do everything that a human being would, they are literal humans, right? And Fushi has either the ability like the passive ability to interact or combine whatever he did with March with these spirits. This brings up a very game breaking and also really sad, because it also might be a little bit sad because we're too late. But it brings up a very interesting question. If somebody were to die, say if March died right there, right? If March died right there, instead of at the wagon or whatever, if March died right there when they were on, like, where Perona was about to kill herself or whatever, and Fushi, for whatever reason, had March's form, could Fushi have taken March's body, or not body, could Fushi have taken March's form, taken March's soul, mixed them together, and brought her back? Now, once again, I don't believe that that's something that he would be able to do, because that would break the anime. Because if we're already struggling with the whole thing of Fushi not really having an enemy, right? Or not an enemy, but Fushi is only up to now getting an enemy, right? Like, for a while we're like, oh well, what do we do if Fushi, you know, it's not like Fushi can be hurt, you know, he's immortal, right? But if Fushi just started doing that, you know, taking somebody's form, if they died, bring their soul over, and we don't exactly know how that, like, the whole ghost thing works, so maybe that's not exactly how it would work. But it's just that ever since seeing them being actual vessels and thinking about the March thing, like, I don't feel like that's for nothing, right? I don't feel like that's for nothing. Like, even if it isn't that, the fact still remains that he interacted with her. Now, granted, yeah, it was for, you know, devil's advocate. It was because, you know, that was stimulation, blah blah, and then he turned into March, right? Yeah, that's true, but it just seemed so weird that March so happened to be a ghost and interacted with Fushi alone, and then Fushi, you know, turned into March. Cool, whatever. But it lines up perfectly to me, but I personally, I would hope that's not something that would happen, because, like I said, it kind of defeats it. There's ways that you could write that in, and once again, we're in like a more theory heavy territory. You could write that in it. If I'm to just get a little meta here, you could write that in, sure, and it could work or whatever. But it would be very hard. It would be very hard to keep that up, because it'd be very hard to keep that up and still keep the fear of losing people, because I think that's kind of what the show is about, and that's why I don't think that they would do it, because I think the show is about losing people and bringing them along the ride, right? Now what I say, now me personally, if I were a writer and I were to do something like that, I feel like with the whole March thing, March eventually just like moved on. So there would have to be like a hard time limit of like, your spirit is still tethered to the earth right now. But then once it moves on, you can't really do anything, right? I mean, there's already a God. There has to be a heaven too, right? And once again, we don't exactly know if he's God or not. We just know that he created Fushi. So all of this is very presumptuous. and not exactly it's not exactly like, oh yeah, man, this is the show is definitely pointing me in this direction, man. Like, no, that's not at all. No. There's this is all just like pure conjecture and theorizing. So it's not likely. It's not likely. But it to me, it's just interesting. Like, it tells me at the very least that there is something more to this than just, or there could be something more to this than just people dying and then being along with the ride. Fushi being able to turn into people. Like, there's something more there that we're not seeing, or that the show's trying to allude to, that I just haven't figured out yet. So I am really I am really interested in seeing what exactly this is all culminating to, because it is very interesting that these vessels are growing up. You know, it's just very interesting, because that it's just not what I expect. I didn't expect that at all. I just didn't expect that. So yeah, this was really cool. Really enjoyed this episode. Hopefully we can get we have this family for a long time, though. I am sure heartbreak is just over the horizon. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I am interested in getting more GUGU and Fushi, though, because I love that duo, man. I really enjoy that duo. So yeah, man, this is great. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more to your eternity or something totally different, the best place to that in, it's always my social media. Link's going to be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early, subscribe to my Patreon. Link's going to be in the description for that as well. We also have Discord if you want. We have Discord, bro. We have Discord. So with all that being said, let me get my off button ready. Yeah, there it is. You all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.